Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to enjoy your life and become who God created you to be. If you truly want a positive change in your life, don't just listen, take action. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you can receive more inspiring messages. Luck, that mysterious force we often credit for someone's success or blame for our own setbacks. But what if I told you luck is not a roll of the dice? What if luck, like wealth, like opportunity, like success itself, could be created, even harnessed? Napoleon Hill once said, "You are the master of your destiny. You can influence, direct, and control your own environment. You can make your life what you want it to be." So today, I challenge you not to wait for luck, but to build it, direct it, and use it as a tool. Because luck isn't about chance. It's about preparation, meeting opportunity. It's about mindset, action, and relentless faith. Let's break down exactly how to harness your luck so you're not waiting for a miracle. You become the miracle. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. It is the cornerstone upon which all success is built. Without a clear and specific aim, life becomes a series of random events, drifting without direction or meaning. When a person truly understands what they want out of life and is willing to pay the price to achieve it, they activate one of the most powerful forces in the universe, the power of intention backed by desire. A person with definiteness of purpose does not wake up each morning wondering what to do or where to go. They rise with clarity. Their goals are not vague dreams or scattered wishes, but clear, written objectives pursued with intensity and discipline. This kind of focus brings energy, direction, and magnetic attraction. It pulls the right people, the right circumstances, and the right opportunities into their orbit, not by magic, but through the unwavering alignment of thought and action. The average person allows distractions, opinions, and fears to dictate the direction of their life. They move from job to job, relationship to relationship, idea to idea, without committing fully to anything. This lack of focus weakens their energy. In contrast, a person who has a definite purpose concentrates all their mental and emotional power in one direction, like sunlight focused through a magnifying glass. That intensity burns through obstacles. It creates momentum. It turns ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. Every great success story begins with someone who made a decision, an inner commitment to pursue a goal with everything they had. When Thomas Edison decided to invent the electric light, he didn't wonder whether it might work. He dedicated himself fully to the task, and despite thousands of failures, he succeeded. When Martin Luther King Jr. dreamed of equality, his clarity vision gave birth to a movement that changed the world. These were not men who casually hoped for something. They had purpose, they had direction, they had unshakable belief in what they were doing. Having definiteness of purpose also means refusing to be scattered by the opinions of others. People will criticize, doubt, and misunderstand those who move with clarity and ambition. But those who have a definite purpose don't waste energy explaining or defending themselves. They are too focused on building, moving, and growing. They are not easily discouraged by temporary defeat because they understand that setbacks are part of the journey, not a signal to quit. Definiteness of purpose gives your mind something to organize itself around. When your goal is clear, your subconscious begins to work in harmony with your conscious efforts. You begin to notice things that were always there but now seem relevant. Ideas, connections, and solutions appear. You start to filter your choices more intelligently. Time, energy, and resources are better allocated because you know where you're going and what it will take to get there. The world yields to those who know what they want and go after it with conviction. Success doesn't always require genius, money, or connections, but it does demand a focused heart and a resolute mind. People who lack a clear aim are often frustrated, reactive, and easily influenced. But those who have chosen a definite purpose and pursue it daily stand out. They radiate certainty in an uncertain world. They attract support and open doors. because the world respects a person who knows where they're going. Definiteness of purpose does not mean rigidity. It means clarity. It allows for flexibility in method, but never in mission. It gives you the power to say no to distractions, to rise above discouragement, and to keep walking even when the path is steep. When you know what you want and why you want it, the how becomes a matter of time, effort, and faith. Faith in action is the bridge between belief and reality. It is not enough to merely hope, wish, or even pray for something to happen. The true power of faith is only revealed when it is expressed through deliberate, courageous action. Many people confuse faith with passive belief, assuming that if they simply desire something strongly enough, it will eventually arrive. But desire without action is merely daydreaming. Real faith does not sit idle. It moves forward, even when the road is unclear, even when fear whispers lies in your ear. When you truly believe in a goal, a dream, or a vision for your life, your actions begin to align with that belief. You stop hesitating. You stop second-guessing. You no longer need the world to validate your vision, because something inside you already has. That is faith in motion. It is waking up and working on your dream before the world applauds you. It is continuing to show up even after you failed, even when the evidence isn't there. Yet, the universe responds to movement. Opportunities do not gravitate toward those who wait. They gravitate toward those who do. When your actions reflect your belief, you create momentum. That momentum attracts resources, people, and ideas that help you build further. On the other hand, when you hesitate or delay, when you overthink or wait for the perfect time, you send a signal to your own subconscious that you don't truly believe, and your subconscious responds accordingly. It withholds energy, creativity, and focus. But when you act with faith, even imperfectly, your whole being starts to synchronize with your goals. Think of the people who changed history. They did not wait until conditions were ideal. They did not wait until they had every answer. They believed in something greater than themselves, and they moved. Rosa Parks sat down. Martin Luther King Jr. marched. Elon Musk built rockets before he had enough money to land them. Steve Jobs built a company in a garage with vision as his only capital. Their actions were fueled by faith, a conviction that what they imagined was possible and that it was worth fighting for. Faith in action also requires the ability to move forward despite fear. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving through it. People often wait to act until they feel ready, but readiness is a myth. You don't act because you feel confident. You feel confident because you act. Action creates clarity. It teaches you. It corrects your path. It builds strength. Every step you take, even the wrong ones, brings you closer to your destination, because you are learning, growing, and proving to yourself that your belief is more powerful than your doubt. There is no such thing as guaranteed success. But faith in action doesn't seek guarantees. It creates possibility. It knows that failure is not fatal, but inaction is. It knows that setbacks are part of the process, not signs to quit. Every great accomplishment in history was once a dream acted upon. The world does not remember those who only thought about doing something. It remembers those who did, regardless of how impossible it seemed at the start. The beauty of faith in action is that it multiplies. The more you act, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the bolder your actions. Soon you begin to see results, not because you were lucky, but because you showed up when others stood still. Faith in action is the seed of greatness. It is the proof that belief is alive, real, and ready to transform the world when you are. Applied knowledge is the secret ingredient that transforms potential into power. It is not what you know that makes the difference. It is what you do with what you know. The world is full of intelligent people who remain stuck, frustrated, and unfulfilled simply because they fail to translate their knowledge into meaningful action. Learning is valuable, yes, But learning without application is like storing gold in a locked box and never using it. The true value of knowledge is only realized when it is put to work, when it fuels action, decision-making, creation, and growth. We live in an age where information is everywhere. Anyone with a smartphone can access centuries of wisdom, strategies, and ideas within seconds. But that abundance of knowledge often leads to a dangerous illusion. People mistake reading for doing. They collect facts, watch tutorials, attend seminars, and consume content endlessly, all while their dreams remain untouched. This is where the difference between passive learning and active learning becomes critical. Passive learning fills your mind. Active learning fills your life with results. Applied knowledge is not about how much you know. It's about how much of what you know is changing your reality. The most successful individuals are not always the smartest or the most educated, but they are the ones who take what they've learned and apply it quickly, consistently, and creatively. They learn through doing. They test ideas, take risks, make adjustments, and keep moving. Their knowledge becomes sharpened through experience, refined by trial and error, and empowered by progress. They don't wait until they feel ready or perfect. They understand that real learning happens in the field, not in the classroom. Applied knowledge is dynamic, alive, and constantly evolving. The habit of applying knowledge requires courage. It means stepping into the unknown, making decisions without all the answers, and risking failure. But without that risk, knowledge becomes a cage instead of a key. It becomes something that holds you back rather than sets you free. Too many people wait until they are certain before they act, not realizing that certainty is the reward of action, not its prerequisite. You gain clarity and confidence by doing, not by thinking alone. Applied knowledge is a leap of faith that connects theory with reality. Another powerful truth about applied knowledge is that it leads to mastery. When you take what you know and use it consistently, you begin to internalize it. It moves from your head to your hands, from concept to competence. You stop quoting ideas and start embodying them. Whether it's business, relationships, health, or creativity, mastery comes not from studying endlessly, but from applying wisely. The muscle of mastery grows through repetition, not observation. Applied knowledge is the discipline of implementation, and it is through that discipline that excellence is born. Those who succeed are not the ones who wait for permission. They are the ones who take initiative. They hear something valuable and immediately ask, how can I use this? They connect ideas with action. They translate insight into impact. They understand that knowledge without application is like a blueprint never brought to life. It is potential never realized. The people who rise above average are those who do something with what they learn, even if that something is small, because even small actions, when repeated and refined, lead to massive results over time. Applied knowledge also creates a feedback loop. When you act on what you know, you begin to see what works and what doesn't. This feedback helps you refine your strategies and deepen your understanding. You are no longer guessing, you are growing. Your experience becomes your greatest teacher, and through that experience you gain wisdom, something far more powerful than knowledge alone. You stop being just a student and become a practitioner, a creator, a leader. That is the power of applied knowledge. It turns information into transformation. Going the extra mile is one of the most overlooked yet most powerful principles of success. It is the habit of doing more than what is expected, of giving more than what is required, and of delivering value without demanding immediate reward. This principle is not just a strategy, it is a mindset, a philosophy of life that separates the average from the exceptional. When you consistently go the extra mile, you build a reputation that no one can buy and develop a character that no one can ignore. It is in that extra effort, in that unseen labor, where greatness is born. The average person does the minimum. They give just enough to avoid consequences, just enough to get by. But those who go the extra mile understand that success comes not from doing what everyone else is doing, but from doing what few are willing to do. They show up early, stay late, prepare deeper, listen longer, serve harder. They are not driven by immediate rewards, but by long-term impact. They know that while going the extra mile may not pay off today, it always pays off eventually. And when it does, the returns are multiplied. There is a law of compensation in life that cannot be escaped. You get back in proportion to what you give. But the universe has a curious way of rewarding those who give more than they're paid for. When you go above and beyond without being asked, you signal to the world that you are not driven by entitlement, but by excellence. You become the kind of person people remember, trust, and rely on. Opportunities gravitate toward those who consistently deliver more than they promise. Promotions, partnerships, and privileges come to those who add value, not just fulfill duties. Most people underestimate the power of doing just a little bit more. A few extra minutes studying, a few more reps in the gym, a few more calls, emails, or follow-ups. These small actions compound over time. While others plateau, you keep rising. While others coast, you keep building. The difference between good and great is not talent, luck, or resources. It is effort. Sustained, focused, and intentional effort beyond the expected. That's where transformation happens. There's also something deeply fulfilling about going the extra mile. It fills you with pride, not the kind that inflates the ego, but the kind that affirms your worth. It reminds you that you're not ordinary, you're not average. You are capable of more, and you're proving it through your actions. When you give your best, not because someone is watching, but because it's who you are, you build self-respect that no one can take away. That confidence radiates. It inspires others. It creates a ripple effect of excellence. Going the extra mile is not a burden, it is a breakthrough. It's not about perfection, it's about passion. It's not about being better than others, it's about being better than you were yesterday. And it's not about seeking praise, it's about building purpose. In a world where most people stop at average, the extra mile is empty. That's why it's the place where champions are made. When you live in that space, you stop competing, you stop surviving, and start soaring. That extra effort may not be seen immediately, but it is never wasted. It is always building something greater. The Mastermind Connection is one of the most powerful forces for personal and professional growth. It is the deliberate alliance of two or more minds working together in perfect harmony toward a definite purpose. When individuals come together with shared goals, mutual respect, and the spirit of collaboration, something extraordinary happens. The energy, ideas, and insight produced by this union far exceed what any single individual could generate alone. It becomes a third mind, a higher intelligence, formed by the collective focus and strength of each contributor. In this space, limitations are dissolved and creative power multiplies. Throughout history, every great achievement has been backed by a mastermind. No empire, invention, or breakthrough has ever been the result of a lone individual acting entirely in isolation. Even the most iconic leaders surrounded themselves with trusted advisors, thinkers, supporters, and challengers. Thomas Edison had a team of inventors. Henry Ford had industrialists and engineers. Andrew Carnegie attributed all of his wealth and power to the mastermind principle, stating that he surrounded himself with men whose minds he tapped into regularly. The Mastermind Connection is the invisible force behind success, and those who understand it use it consciously and consistently. What makes the Mastermind so unique is that it's not just about exchanging ideas, it's about expanding possibilities. When one mind meets another in open trust and shared purpose, the brainwaves themselves begin to synchronize. New thoughts emerge, ones that would not have been born in solitude. Challenges are broken down faster. Solutions appear from angles previously unseen. A mastermind is not just a group, it is an incubator for innovation. It lifts each member higher than they could climb on their own. Another remarkable aspect of the Mastermind Connection is the emotional and psychological support it provides. Pursuing a vision or a goal can be lonely, especially when challenges mount or when results are delayed. But being part of a mastermind means you are never alone. You are surrounded by people who believe in your mission, who remind you of your strength, and who hold you accountable to your higher self. They see your blind spots, encourage your risks, and challenge your excuses. They don't let you settle. They push you forward with love, wisdom, and truth. The mastermind principle also teaches humility. When you align with others in the spirit of mutual benefit, you come to appreciate the strengths of others. You learn to listen deeply, to consider perspectives outside of your own, and to value feedback not as criticism, but as a tool for refinement. It is not about dominance or control. It is about co-elevation. Each person brings something vital to the table, and through honest dialogue and shared commitment, every voice contributes to the collective rise. But not every group qualifies as a mastermind. True mastermind connections require intention, trust, and alignment. It's not enough to gather a group of people and talk about goals. There must be a shared vision, a commitment to growth, and a willingness to be vulnerable. The power of the mastermind emerges only when egos are set aside and everyone is dedicated to lifting each other higher. It is a sacred space built on integrity, where competition is replaced by collaboration and scarcity is replaced by abundance. When you become part of a mastermind, your growth accelerates, your thinking sharpens, your goals expand. You begin to think bigger because you're surrounded by others who believe in bigger. You stretch your imagination, refine your strategy, and gain momentum. You begin to walk with more purpose, more confidence, and more clarity, not because you've changed alone, but because the energy of the group has elevated you. The mastermind is proof that when minds unite in harmony, the impossible becomes possible. It is not just a tool for success, it is a path to transformation. Persistence without exception is the unwavering commitment to a goal, no matter the obstacles, delays, or difficulties that arise along the way. It is the inner fire that refuses to be extinguished, the mindset that says, I will not stop until I succeed. While talent may open doors, an opportunity may give you a start. It is persistence that carries you to the finish line. Most people give up not because they lack ability, but because they lack the strength to keep going when the journey becomes hard. Persistence without exception means continuing to show up when nothing seems to be working, when progress is invisible, and when the reward is still a distant dream. Every great success story is written in the ink of relentless effort. The names we remember, those who built empires, changed the world, or overcame impossible odds, were not people who never failed, but people who never quit. They faced rejection, disappointment, and failure just like everyone else. But what set them apart was the refusal to give in. They persisted not just when it was easy or exciting, but especially when it was painful, boring, or frustrating. Persistence without exception is what transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. It is the decision to keep walking even when the road is steep and the destination is out of sight. When you adopt the mindset of persistence without exception, you stop negotiating with your dreams. You remove quitting as an option. You burn the ships, so retreat is no longer possible. That level of commitment changes how you operate. You become more resourceful, more resilient, and more focused. Challenges become fuel, not barriers. Failures become teachers, not stop signs. You begin to understand that success is not reserved for the most gifted. It is earned by those who refuse to back down. This kind of persistence does not ignore reality, but it refuses to be ruled by it. It acknowledges setbacks without being defeated by them. It recognizes obstacles but sees them as part of the process, not as permanent blots. When others see an excuse to quit, the persistent see a reason to push harder. They understand that every setback carries a seed of growth. Every delay is a test of desire, and every time you choose to keep going, you reinforce the identity of someone who cannot be stopped. Persistence, without exception, also builds character. It strengthens discipline, deepens patience, and sharpens determination. It teaches you to trust the process even when you can't see the results. It shapes your mindset into one of endurance, focus, and inner toughness. Over time, the person who continues day after day, step after step, develops an edge that no shortcut can replace. Others may start stronger or faster, but the persistent outlast them all. The journey may be long and the rewards may be delayed, but those who persist eventually break through, simply because they refuse to be broken. In a world obsessed with instant results and quick fixes, persistence, without exception, is rare. Most people look for the easy way, the hack, the shortcut. But true success doesn't come to those who dabble. It comes to those who are all in. It comes to those who decide that no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, they will not give up. They may slow down, they may stumble, they may cry, but they keep going. They persist, not just when conditions are ideal, but especially when they are not. There is a quiet power in persistence. It doesn't always shout. It doesn't always win headlines, but it wins battles, the kind that matter most. It builds unshakable confidence, because when you persist through difficulty, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. And that belief, once earned, can never be taken away. Persistence, without exception, is not just about chasing goals. It is about becoming the kind of person who can achieve them again and again, no matter what life throws in the way. The journey to harnessing your luck is not about chasing random moments of fortune, but about aligning your mindset, actions, and relationships with timeless principles that attract opportunity. Luck, as many perceive it, is often misunderstood. It is not a sudden stroke of chance that lands on the fortunate few. Rather, it is the natural outcome of consistent effort, right thinking, and aligned intention. Those who seem lucky are often those who have put in years of unseen effort, stayed committed to their vision, and refused to give up when the odds were against them. They cultivated the habit of staying prepared, so that when opportunity knocked, they were ready to answer. They built strong networks, asked the right questions, took bold action, and learned from every failure. The truth is that luck favors those who refuse to leave their fate to chance. It smiles on those who take ownership of their growth, who believe in the power of their purpose, and who persist without exception. When you live with intention, work with integrity, and walk with faith, luck doesn't feel random. It feels earned. You start to notice that opportunities show up more often, that doors open where there were once only walls, and that life begins to respond to your inner clarity. Harnessing your luck means becoming the kind of person who attracts success not by wishing for, but by becoming worthy of it through mindset, effort, and connection. It is the art of showing up prepared over and over until your moment arrives, and then rising to meet it with everything you've become. If you found this video inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Your support helps us reach more people and spread the message of hope and growth.